good evening. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you folks about the little people, the little ones, the forest people. There's a few terms for them, and as elusive as Sasquatch is, and its different variations, the little ones, as they're called, these little 1 to 3 foot tall, hairy, human like little creatures that are seen throughout the United States, are even more mysterious. And I find it very fascinating how little information there is, but from time to time you do get reports of these. And if you look back in some of the native traditions, they talk a lot about these little creatures too, as being, and some of the more modern stories as well kind of corroborate some of these older myths and legends and stories that they're very mischievous. They can be very aggressive. They can chase people or they can lead people to their dooms. And there's different stories about portals and all sorts of weird stuff that goes on with these creatures, not unlike what you get with Bigfoot. Now, I know in British Columbia, around Vancouver, the Pukwudgies tribe, which I'm fairly familiar with, they have the tradition of the Zunaqua, which is the large Bigfoot that we all know, the Patty-type Bigfoot, which is the wild woman of the woods or the wild man of the woods. But they also have a tradition of the Pukwudgies. And the Pukwudgies is what we would describe as the little people. They are 1, 2, 3 foot tall, little hairy ones that run through the woods and cause trouble, cause mischief. They're known to steal food and cause trouble. And I guess they're very rarely seen. And the natives up there know that they're there, but they don't ever really see them, unlike Sasquatch, where they do see occasionally. I've also heard reports of them in the Sierras. I've heard some really wild reports about portals and other strange things and other more paranormal type phenomenon associated with these sightings in the Sierras. But I have heard of them being there from time to time at different spots. Also in Southern California, where I am, I know on the Ortega Highway, there's a history of a small hairy creature that looks like a man being seen running across the road in the middle of the night, or spotted by hikers and campers there, it's in Orange County, kind of on the border between Orange County and San Diego and Riverside County, kind of headed down that way. And for as much traffic as it gets, it's actually pretty rugged terrain and abuts to quite a bit of nothing. So you can imagine how these little creatures can kind of go undetected, or if they're interdimensional, who knows? It's very strange, but very fascinating. Scientifically speaking, what came to mind when I was doing research for this project is the Homo forensis, which was found in Indonesia, which is an extinct race of humans, much like an offshoot, its own distinct species other than Homo sapiens. They were very much a lot like us with a little more primitive features, but they were very small. They were like 2, 3, 4 foot tall, and they're pretty much like the human hobbit. If you remember the Lord of the Ring movies, the size of the hobbits were around 3.5 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet tall. That's how big these humans are, bigger and give or take smaller. And this is, when you have a population that's small on an island or on a small island, the things tend to get bigger. And when animals and humans are in bigger open spaces, they tend to get bigger. And I'm not saying what these creatures that people are seeing in North America, these small little ones people see from time to time, these small hairy creatures that look like a mini Bigfoot, more or less, are descendants or have anything to do with Homo forensis, the human hobbits. But it is kind of curious that we did have in our own fossil records distant cousins of ours, speaking of our species, that would kind of fit along with what people are seeing. Now, we don't know how hairy forensis was or how long their lifespan or any of that other kind of stuff, but it is kind of fascinating that, hey, humans can walk upright and be, roughly as small as what people are seeing. And pygmies around the world, for lack of a better term, and small tribes. Now, I'm not talking dwarfism or any of that kind of stuff. I'm talking where it's a race of people that slowly got smaller and smaller and smaller, isn't unknown. There's different populations around the globe of small people, and Homo forensis here, as you see in this recreation kind of fits a little bit of what the description of what people see in North America. Now, being that in North America we have a lot colder climate typically in different parts of the United States than Indonesia, it would have to be a little more of a hairy, a little more of a robust, a little more of an ingenuity, a little bit more of an ingenious type creature to maybe make fire or find shelter or to clothe itself. That's to say if these creatures aren't something more paranormal that I kind of alluded to, because there's a lot of strange stories with these things, orbs of lights or some kind of portals where creatures were coming through and these things came through too, or people were on the trail of, I've heard stories of people on a trail of normal Sasquatches when they came across these things and they were almost trying to like scare them off, and reports of them growling and charging at them and throwing rocks, and it's very strange. I've heard a few stories of that in Sierras, and it just seems to be kind of all over the place with what these things are and where they're found, and I think their rarity kind of speaks a lot to that. So on the East Coast, you do hear of people seeing little ones, these little mini Bigfoots, but you also have a tradition of something called a Pukwudgie. It's kind of a folklore, kind of a tradition, these little almost kind of gnome, elf, little troll creatures, whatever you want to call them, these 2 or 3 foot high, with spiky hair and little claws, and known to carry spears, known to start fires, and be real kind of mean tricksters, and they'll follow people around and steal stuff and steal chickens and misplace things and just kind of generally cause havoc, or kind of like a curse, or if people wrong them, they'll hold a grudge kind of a thing. And there's all these traditions of Pukwudgies, and especially seems to be kind of in the New England, going into Vermont, New Hampshire, kind of on the East Coast area, tradition of these things. And people do see them occasionally where they have these the wicked little 2 or 3 foot tall, kind of hunched over man looking creature things with spears or running around, and they're found in a lot of the same areas as regular Bigfoot. So they're seen in some of the same areas as like even the dogman creature has been reported. And it's quite fascinating, the whole Pukwudgie thing. And trying to do some research into it, there's really not that much. You hear a lot of other big-time Bigfoot researchers and other people talk about it on occasion. And occasionally you hear, yeah, we're out in the woods and this little 2 or 3 foot tall hairy man ran across there, or this one had claws and fangs and it looked like some kind of a little like demon monkey type thing. Not to say devil monkeys, because that's kind of something else. But the whole Pukwudgie thing is very, very fascinating. Like this little tribe of these little supernatural type creatures that inflict curses on people and just generally have a horrifying appearance. And you don't really hear too much. You don't really hear too much to say about it. And they're known to carry little bows and arrows and that kind of stuff, and some of them be poisoned. But much like Bigfoot, as you can see here with the road sign, the Pukwudgie in a lot of areas is really kind of transcended into the popular culture. The Pukwudgies will get you, or be careful, or you're out camping and you wake up and the flashlight you left outside is gone, and the Pukwudgie stole it, be careful, or you have to leave them an offering, or don't leave food out. So it is kind of fascinating in that sense. It's something I'm going to be looking into more and more. Like I said, the Pukwudgies and then these little hairy creatures that people are seeing, are they related? Are they one and the same? Or they're regional variants of it? Are they completely different? Are these little hairy creatures some kind of just a little natural hairy creature that occurs in some remote areas like Bigfoot does, but just tiny, and the Pukwudgies are something more akin to a spirit or like a sprite or a demon? Are they the same thing? I honestly have no clue. Anyway, this is just the information that I wanted to put out there. Maybe I'll do an update video because I'm really trying to find some good information from people that I trust on these things. Also, for Dave the Outlandish, if you're listening, here's your video on the little ones. I know he wanted to go out and look for them, and that would be great, except if Bigfoot's a needle in a haystack, this is a needle in a hay field. I mean, it's even harder to find these little guys from what I've heard. So if you have any information, please leave it in the comments below. If you like what you see, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and stay safe in the woods. Don't let the Pukwudgies get you. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can find me at unstellar.com. You can also find me at twitter.com at realmattsquatch. This is where I post notifications for new videos outside of YouTube. And I'm also on Instagram. I post other random pictures here too, and sometimes some stuff about Bigfoot as well. And you can always email me at mattsquatchpresents@gmail.com.